Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I'm Sarah, and we will talk about Odoo, more precisely how to digitalize your daily task, focusing on HR department processes. Here, just to be transparent with you, it's the first time that I'm doing a webinar. Usually we go with some colleagues on the city, on your country, to talk to you about our company and do the demonstration live. But I think it's also important due to the current situation to do some webinars to keep showing you how Odoo works. Give me 1 second. The charger, I just forget that, but it's okay. Well, also you see that my polo is purple and my wall just behind me is also purple. You can trust me, the wall was purple before I applied to Odoo, but it makes the perfect match. So I think you might understood that I will be your speaker today. So I'm Sarah, and in Odoo I'm a business advisor. What do I do on a day-to-day in Odoo is that I analyze the project of my clients on SaaS version, and by analyzing the project, we qualify the needs of the client, and then we do personalized demonstrations for them, just to be sure that Odoo can be a relevant tool for them. So with us in Odoo, yes. And the picture was taken in Odoo experience last year in October. It represents the launch of our new version. So if you want to join us, you are of course welcome to visit us in Belgium to participate to that launch. It will be, for example, in October this year. You can search Fabien Pencars. He's in the crowd, but if you find him, you can just comment and we will have a look at the picture at the end. But just to be more serious here, Odoo is on the right screen. You can have a look at what's Odoo today with Odoo's menu, which represents lots of applications. So each application corresponds to one need, and knowing that Odoo is flexible and an integrated system, it can be applied and can be used by every kind of company and also every size and sector. So here, introducing the international aspect of Odoo. You've seen that we have a big team today in Brussels, as you've seen in the last picture, but Odoo has also an international outlook, and you can see here in the map some data, and also that we've opened many offices thanks to our growth of an average 65%, and that growth is also thanks to 800 of employees that we have worldwide that contribute to the development of our tool. So we recruit a lot of people. If you want to join us in one of our offices here, we have a presence here in Hong Kong, we have in Dubai, we have in North America with New York and San Francisco. Our headquarters are, for example, in Grande-Rosière, and I'm doing the webinar from Brussels here. So here the growth means also opening new businesses and expand also to a more international aspect. And we've opened here in Antwerp and Mexico City recently, but also in Buffalo in the United States, if you want to join us and participate and contribute to the development of our tool. So here also, and we are proud of it, more than the 800 employees worldwide. We have here 5 million users. It's our community around the world. It doesn't come from the new business model that we have just a few years ago, but it comes from the open source version because it represents the whole community of Odoo. And also with that whole community, we have official partners that resell our solution locally and implement our system in companies in each country, which represents 200 and almost 2,000, and almost 300 partners around the world. So it's quite important, and we are proud that so many people contribute to the development of our tool. But here it leads us to consider a few references. Here regarding that slide, we can see that Odoo participated to the optimization of many businesses. You can recognize here some companies like, for example, McKinsey, NG, Croix-Rouge, Danone, Total, but it's just a few of the examples that Odoo optimizes their processes. Also, we have to consider that Odoo doesn't help the multinationals, but it can help also very small companies, and also important to consider that we optimize and we are specialized in SMEs. So here we try to help every kind of companies, every sector, every sizes. So it is just a company that have a need that comes to us, and we try to analyze their needs and to implement a flexible and totally integrated ERP. And everything can be done online. As you know, the current situation cannot we cannot do the implementation locally, but we still can do it online, for example, through a SaaS version. But here it leads also us to the HR topic, as I introduced in the beginning of this webinar, that we wanted to focus more on HR department. It's really important to consider that department and also to consider an integration with the other needs that a company can have. So we wanted to also develop that aspect of the activities. And as you know, I don't see you, you are in front of my screen, but on the other side of my screen, sorry, but we know that HR managers are multifunctional. And here are a few examples that you have to manage every day in your day-to-day activities. We know that you lose a lot of time, and things can be complicated. For example, for contract management, so contracts can be a really tough process with a really long recruitment process, depending, for example, on the sector that you are at the activity. We also know that HR managers need to control the attendance and also manage the leaves. For example, you are in a company and you have to check on the schedulement if 2 people of your team can go on vacation or not. You have to be aware of that kind of details, which are really important to your company. Also, as an HR manager, you need to approve the expenses. Imagine you are on a company that you have lots of employees sending you all the expenses. You have manually to put that on the system. Odoo thought about that and understood your position and wanted to set up a solution that would optimize your work. So here, all those examples can be summarized into just one sentence, which is the diversity of the tasks can really be difficult to handle. And we've understood that. Also, regarding the HR process, I think it's important to consider that today there still is a lot of integration between that specific department and the other needs of a company. For example, a company which is very specific, which has some specifications on inventory management or manufacturing, and uses another system to manage the HR department, which you don't see any integration between the two softwares, and you have to manually enter the data each time that you, for example, manage a recruitment process, etc. So here also regarding a study market, which has been done by Kodak, we've seen that too much companies today still use much paper. So regarding the percentage here, only 3% use the document management software, and it should be more. It is a very, very small percentage of companies that don't use a right software to manage and to do some efficient work. So here we tried to do as paperless as possible in Odoo, and this is why we, through the demonstration, will see how to set up that system. So here also some examples, but I think that you are on the other side of the screen, but you understand me well when I'm talking about some problems, so lose of time, some processes that are long, complex, and also takes you a lot of patience to work, but we understood that, and I think the solution, we all understood also that the real solution is an integrated system, like, for example, an ERP that integrates the HR department to the other, your core business, which can be, for example, manufacturing or services, etc. And here, coming from a specific word, a specific expression here, you have to choose a performing human resources informative system. So it is, I think, the key to be efficient in your work and also to optimize your process. And we've understood that. So here, I think it's more interesting to go on the demonstration right now. So what I'm going to ask you is to take your smartphone if you have it with you. So we will start with Menti. So I will just put here on the full screen. Okay, so let's go. I'm asking you to interact with me because the boring part, the theory part, is right behind us. And now we will do some demonstrations. So I will show you many applications that Odoo developed, and then can optimize your activity. So let's imagine that you are HR manager. You just got a promotion, and you need to manage so the HR department of your company. So here you can go. I will put you the instructions here. You can grab your phone. You can go on the second step, which is www.menti, so menti.com. You go on your browser, you write down this address, and then you just have to enter that code, which is 198068. And you can start answering to the first question. So I will just here keep some seconds on this page. So as I explained here, you will guide me in the demonstration you want to see. So by answering to the questions, you will choose the direction that I will show you on live. Okay. If I go back on the first question, I see that I'm not alone in the webinar, that I have some people following. So here the question is, your first mission is to recruit new employees. So as we explained, you are a new HR manager. So what kind of profile would you like to recruit first? We have three options, which are the most seen in every company. So we need, for example, a salesperson to manage a pipeline, etc. So you need to recruit that kind of person, a technician, but also, for example, a developer. Okay, I can see here that we are going to recruit a new developer because I think it's almost the same as a salesperson, but it wins. Okay, so let's go to the demonstration. I will show you how to create and how to manage that new post. Okay, so here you have the Odoo's menu. You find all the applications related to HR that we are going to see today. So here we will go directly on recruitment here. We will so create the job position, which is a developer. So here, I'm sorry, I apologize in advance because my internet connection is not the best, working at home, but we have to adapt. Okay, so here, just to explain the recruitment application, as HR management, I will have all my job positions here. It's a kind of pipeline that you will manage here directly, so you will find some related to developer, consultant, trainee, human resources, etc. So we will create one together. As you choose, I will create a developer function position. And then you can also associate and assign a mail address where you are going to do the reception of all the applications related to that job. Okay, so here, for example, jobs at Roadshow Webinar 2020. And I easily create that. So here I have one more position, and what can I do easily is to edit that job position. Why? Because I, for example, need 10 people for that job, and I give that information to myself so that I know that I need to recruit 10 developers. So I can save that, put, for example, a responsible and also a department which is research and development. Okay, I save that information, and then if I go back on the job positions, I will see that for my developers specifically, I need, if I scroll down, 10 people to recruit for that function. So here you can see that easily you can create the job positions, as much job positions as you want, and then manage also with the filters. You can do some whatever you want here to organize your work. So let's go back to our question, and here we put the second question here. So let's say that your offer needs more visibility, and what do you want to do? So we have here two different approaches, which is related to the website, or publish it on Twitter or other platform. So the first one is when you have a website, you create a website with Odoo for some visibility, and you want to add, for example, a section for your jobs, and then to make the job position appear on your website so that people can apply directly from your website. Otherwise, you can, I think it's the most people want to see it, but you can configure that on many social media platforms in Odoo because we have that integrated. So I think we will directly go on that demonstration. Okay, go back here, and I have here the social marketing part. So if I enter on social marketing, I can see here that we can manage many streams of our social media. For example, you have one Facebook page here, which is Stealthy Woods. You can add a Twitter account. You can also add LinkedIn accounts. So here, if you want to add a stream, easily you will be able to do it through that button, okay? Then you can activate also others if you want to put it on LinkedIn, etc. But the thing here is to post, to give visibility to my job position through a new post. So here, if I configure that, I would just want to give that information, for example, on my website, my first one, on Twitter and on Facebook. And I will be able to synchronize that information and publish it on the three canals. So here, the message. So, hi everyone. If you want to apply, for example, to the developer job, I invite you to apply below. And it is on the same way that you do it manually in your social media. You can add some hashtags, for example. You can put, for example, Odoo, I'm recruiting a developer person. And also, for example, here we'll put an hashtag developer to get more visibility through the hashtags, which are really important in social media. If you want to be friendly, you can also add some smileys here. You can also attach some image to give more information, and you can see in real time what the navigators will see through the channel. So here on the Facebook page, we will publish that message. It will be done like that on Twitter, and also through the website built with Odoo, a new message will appear. Okay, to invite people to apply, for example, if they feel concerned. So here, just to stay simple, I can save and directly to post that. If I post that, it will be visible in the three channels. Okay. So here, if I come back, and you can also synchronize that to have it on real time. Okay. And you will see here also by the synchronization, you will see the other posts, the other posts that you have done a few time ago or a few seconds if you are really active on the social media. But the main thing also is to react directly on the posts. And if you want, through the post that you've done, if you want to comment directly because someone put a comment and you want to get in touch with him directly, you can directly answer to the person. You can also put some likes, and you can manage all the social media from your Odoo directly. Okay. Which is interesting, and also leads us to the next question here. I still need more applicants. What can I do? And then there are two offers that I can do, two possibilities. We can, for example, create a recruitment event like job fairs. We can imagine that you organize job fairs, student job fairs, so that we can recruit some people that leave just university because they will look for a first job. Or create an internal referral program, which is something that we do in Odoo. Just here, while you are answering, I will give you just my story for Odoo. I've been referred in Odoo directly, and my colleague referred 4 people. So you know that in your network you can have very qualitative people that can apply and join you in the same company. And I think people want to see that functionality in Odoo, which is our referral application. Okay, let's go to the referral application. So go back on the Odoo menu, and you see here the little guy ready to do some referrals here. So we enter on that application, and here I just skip the introduction to get directly the thing that we want to see. Okay, so here you have a referral program, which is a program that allows you to refer some colleagues, which can be qualitative in your network. So you can create your icon here, the little girl. And what we have to understand on that program is that the referral can be directly emailed to a friend. Okay, so here I know that there is a great position for my friend, for my colleague in my network that doesn't work actually. He's not part of any company, so I can directly email him for example, the job position. So here I will put an address, and you can send the email with the job offer, where you can put here just the call to action button, an iframe. Okay, and you send the emails to the person that you think that could fit to that job position, and you have here the quick overview of what's ongoing here. So you referred one person here successfully. There are 2 ongoing, for example, on recruitment process, and you have here 3 reference that 3% that can be qualitative to that job position. And here, through that button, we have a quick overview of the job here, the jobs that are proposing by the company. Okay. Okay. Next question here. So we've seen the referral program. We've seen also how to create a job, simply a job position in Odoo as an HR manager. Then we needed more visibility, and we did some posts through our social media to reach my network. So here, okay, that's awesome, but people start to apply, and what should I do? Sorry. Okay, I see that you want all to collect the CVs first and review them. So here it's interesting because in the recruitment application, you will be able to manage a real pipeline, and that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, go back here on the Odoo menu. You want to collect all the CVs and review them. What you are going to do is to manage a real pipeline, as I explained, from the recruitment application. Let's take again our example of Mitchell admin here, developer. So here if I click on the application, I see my pipeline, which is composed of initial qualification, first interview, second interview, and contract proposal, for example, with a contract sign, which is the normal end of the process. But here, if I create that application from, for example, David, which wants to applicate, here I received his demand, and then here I can put some information just to be sure that we have enough information to get the first interview. So here you fill in the information that you have, and then you save it and you pass through the first interview. And then as an HR management, you will have a quick overview of the different processes that that are ongoing. So here, as you can see, there are different steps that we discussed a few seconds ago on the pipeline. You find them directly here, and as you pass them from one stage to another, you can see that on the chatter, just a bit below on the screen, you have automatic emails that are sent to to David, to the person who wants to apply, with an information that on which step they are directly. So here it's a congratulations because they positively. The resume, has been positively reviewed by the HR manager. So the next step here is to give a quick call, the first interview with David, to know if he's qualitative to go on the second interview. And then you will be able to manage, and each time you go on from one step to another, you will have a specific email that is sent to the person. Let's go to the other question here. Okay, it was here. So we've collected all the CVs, we reviewed them, we sent some the emails to the person who wanted to apply to give him information on which stage he is. So now you have to create his employing contract. What salary can you give him? It's an important decision because the contract that you will send to him, the person will have to agree with that salary and agree also with the conditions that you send. Okay, we tried to be as realistic as possible by putting some amounts, but I see that here, just to understand, the application of the job application here is just to give that information of how much he will earn in the company. So we take that example that it is 2,500, just taking the example so that we can do that demonstration on live. So here we go on the employees form. Why? Because we will have a look at the information that we set up as a salary, for example. And here, if I click on employee, I can find all the employees that are related to our company, so my company as HR manager. Sorry. If I want to set up some departments, you can have here administration, management, professional services. It really depends on the sector you are, on what you want to configure. Our ERP is enough flexible that you can configure some departments that you want. But here the thing is that we will have a look at one employee. So, for example, here Peterson that wants. So we want to configure that salary amount. So for that employee file, you can have a 360 degrees overview with all the information that is related to that specific employee. And then for just one person, I took another one from David just to have a few more information. Here, Mrs. Peterson is a consultant, and as an HR manager, you will be able to configure all the information related to Peterson, like work information, private information, which goes very far in terms of private information that you can fill in. If the person doesn't comes from Europe and, for example, comes from Latin America and needs a work permit, you can configure that everything. Okay. Also regarding HR settings here, you can, for example, put a status, send appraisal forms to manager employees when they will be reviewed as an appraisal, etc. So here also for basic information, you have that those smart buttons here. Those represent the integration with the other applications. We have here an integration with time off, which are the leaves. As we discussed previously, it's really important to have a look at the days that they want to ask, and I would need to approve. The appraisal that we've just discussed a few seconds ago, and also the contract which is related, for example, to Patterson, which is, for example, a half period contract or full-time, half-time or full-time contract. So you will find, as I explained, all the employees of your company, you can manage them directly by department, but it will be maybe interesting to pass to the next question, which is related to internal processes and all HR data in our system. So that's great. You've just recruited your first employee. What's the priority? Okay, so I hear that there is much more interest on onboarding him on internal processes. We've seen that's important also to manage a good onboarding for all the employees that are coming and starting in your company, so that they can be operational as quick as possible. Okay, perfect. I think we will go on that internal process that we can develop directly in Odoo, and have a look at what's in practice in the demonstration. So here I will go back just on recruitment process because it is part of your recruitment also. So as we've seen the developer here, we had so two applications. David here, so I will create the employee for him, and need a contact name and contact name for this applicant. I need to David Dupont, and I can save. Okay, I'm sure to create an employee because he has a name now. Okay, great. We are on the same field that we just saw a few seconds ago with Patterson, but now as David Dupont has been created, we want to launch an onboarding program. I will just have to set up here a manager because that manager will be in charge of the ongoing process. So for example, I'll put here, Sarah, I'm in charge of David, and then I will launch the plan. And by launching the plan, I know that I can select here an onboarding process, for example, and I can launch the plan so that David can be directly managed by me by learning some new competences in his work. Okay, so here you will be able to launch a plan. You can create that plan also and edit directly, and then by that onboarding process, you will be able to manage that directly. Okay, so I go back here and I put the other question. So now you're overloaded with requests coming from everywhere. What should you do first? As an HR manager, it's important for you to have a look on the leaves requests of your employees, but also to accept and validate the expenses of your employees that are, for example, on the road and need to send you some expenses so that you can approve them. Okay, I see that there is much of people who wants to take some day off and wants to see also how to set up some leaves to ask for some day offs in Odoo. So here I think the tendance goes from leaves, so I will show you how your employees can directly ask a few days off. So here in that application, so you can, as an employee, ask your own days off. You can ask it to the HR manager, and as an HR manager, you will be able to validate that. Okay, so here you will see that as an employee, you have many paid days off. you have compensatory days, also reminding, and also sick time offs, which represent the time offs that you can configure. Okay, there are many types that you can configure to add, to create directly in the system. Maybe those ones doesn't correspond to those that you use today in your sector, for example in your country, so you can easily create them and set up so that your employees can take this days off. But as a time off, I will check, for example, the schedulement of each employee, so that I know if there is, for example, David that asks me some days off, I can see if I can approve them so that he can go on holidays. And so here, what we are going to do is that to be on to be David, for example, and to ask for some days off, for example, Thursday and Friday. So I will here select the type of day, the type of holiday I want to ask to my HR manager, and then I will configure here a date from, for example, 15 to 17. So in reality, it's 3 days, and then I save, and it takes 3 paid time offs of my my remaining days here. So here, as an HR manager, you can, as we said, have a look at it. You can see that David asked on those 3 days. It's not a problem because there is not much, there is people at work on those following 3 days. So you can approve that directly, and you go on your section, time off, you need to be approved. Okay. So as need to be approved, you can find directly here the 3 days to approve here. And you can, if you agree, approve that. So you have the 2 important steps here in Odoo. So you can approve or refuse if you don't agree, because there are too much people taking the holidays at the same time. And then as a manager, you can approve, and then you can validate that if everything is okay. As you said here, you always have a detail of what has been done in the charter, so you can always find the information of what you've done directly from validating, approving, etc. Okay, so just here we validated the 3 time offs of David. Next question. So here it's an important aspect. So congratulations. The following step is to give appraisals. So you've been a manager for 1 year now, and you need to do some review on the appraisals for your employees. So should be evaluated online. Let's organize face-to-face meetings. I will just leave some more seconds, but it goes. I think it will go on an appraisal evaluated online. Okay, face-to-face meetings, but it represents almost the same need. It's just that the person needs to be to have an appraisal, so that we can measure if the competence of the person has evolved or not. Okay, we will go on the just one more second if it changes. Okay, we will go. Let's organize face-to-face meetings. Okay, here in Odoo, what is related to the appraisals is the surveys, because you can do it online. You can send it directly to the email of the employee and the manager, so that the person can answer to the questions, to the survey. Or you can, as we said, organize face-to-face meetings and sending the appraisal before by email. So here, as a survey, you will need to configure that previously. I just did here a draft so that you can have a look at how the survey can be filled in. So here it will be the survey performance phrases. with some question here and some topics and also the question type. So I can configure what I want so that the people can answer directly and have also those results to do some analysis. So I will start the survey and I will copy the link so that the people can answer to that survey. Sorry. Okay, so here I copy the text. I don't send it because I will put that on the appraisal directly. So I go on the appraisal and I create one, for example, David, our colleague, which has been on the company for 6 months. So here I just select David Dupont, which is here directly. I'm still his manager, so I keep Sarah as a manager, and then the rest is not important, but as I explained, you will be able to send that communication, send that email with the survey directly to the person. So here I want to send the email to the employee and also email to the manager, okay? And then here, for example, the manager and the employee will receive an email, a specific email. If you want to change anything in the email, you can. The thing here is to put, for example, the link directly just under that word so that the manager can fill in the survey. Okay, and then I will, for example, configure another survey for the employee or the same so that he can auto-evaluate for his competences. And then I will do it here the same, for example, and I will put it on. Okay, then here it is just 2 different mails I send to the employee and the manager. So I save. I will confirm the appraisal and I will send the forms. Okay, so the person here received the link directly in his email, and then he will be able to fill in the form. So here we will put on down. And how do we fill in the form? For example, here we can do a test on live on how it goes when we fill in the form. So it goes directly on our here website, and we can start the survey. So you can also configure that because it's not too graphic, but you still can do it from our system, from drag and dropping the elements from the left to the right. And we can, for example, add a cover here just to be more graphic. But the main goal here will be the filling to start the survey. So here I start the survey on live. And as you can see, I can find my topics here, the question that I asked to the manager and the employee, and I can directly answer to the question. So here I just put someone that is completely excellent, went from nothing and get some evolution in the 6 months that he's been on the company. Let's be optimistic, and then you can submit the survey. Okay, so here the main goal was to do some appraisal based on the survey for the employees that have been in the company for 6 months. Okay, so we've seen here an appraisal that have been done through a survey. You can also put in the email that you wanted to organize a face-to-face meeting. It can be as you want. So here the question is regarding customization. So as your department has grown so fast, you need to get more complex. The needs are getting more complex. You need to add some customization on Odoo directly. So we have here 2 options, need more information on employees form or need to limit the access to confidential information. Okay. we will need Studio, which is a customization application. Everything we've done can be done online. So here, just to do the link with the current situation, everything can be done online in Odoo, as we've seen today. So I think we will go on a customization with Studio in order to limit the access to the information. But it's the same logic for the first option. We will do both so that everyone is happy. Okay, I go back here on my Odoo menu quickly. And in my employees form, I will go directly in my employees. Here I will search for example, David Dupont, which is our developer. But here I need to add an important information on the employee form, and I need to customize that information. And I would need, of course, Studio, which is an option here that you can directly have. If we enter in the Studio mode, we see that the graphism is different because we enter in a more advanced way of Odoo so that we can customize. Always with the same logic here, when you have features or new fields that you can drag and drop from the left to the right. So here for the text, I want to, for example, add on the employee form a quick view on the kind of contract that David has applied for. So, for example, full-time or half-time. So here I put some text and I can manage and add some fields in Odoo directly. So just here, the small information is that the field that you add, you will find it in all the employees form in Odoo. So you see that easily we added a file here in the employees folder, and then we can mention and rename it type of contract, for example. I want to rename it like this so that I know what to fill in or not. It takes just a few seconds, and then I have my type of contact. If I want to to configure the visibility of that field, as you asked in the answer of the question, you can put that field invisible or required or read only. Okay. For example, here I put it on invisible. You save, and so that only HR manager have that information for the employees field. Okay. For example, another way to do it directly in the field is that we can, for example, add another field and put it as a requirement information that you need to have in Odoo in the David Dupont file. For example, here I need to put an information, so is, for example, or full-time or not. So here time working. I can easily rename it as we've seen together, and I can configure that, for example, as required. So I need that HR manager fill in that information before to save. I go back on the David Dupont, and as it is a required field, I can edit it and then put some information full-time, for example. And you have to fill that information, otherwise you cannot save the data. And with that Studio application, you will be able to configure and to customize in an advanced way in Odoo. Okay, so let's go back. So on here on the slides, because the demonstration, I would say, is done. But if you have any other question, you can always ask to me. We can have a look at that. Here, I will send you, for example, you can take my email down, you can contact me, and I can do a personalized demonstration. Here. After that demonstration, we have to keep in mind one big information is that the thing that we've seen today, the HR applications that we've seen today, it's not, or I would say, it's totally integrated with the other applications that we've not seen today. So it's important to consider that Odoo is an entire ERP. So it's like the image that you've seen, that you can see here. Odoo can manage projects, can manage also help desk accounting, which is related to financial, can also manage other points, important points of an activity, like, for example, inventory, manufacturing, point of sale, and everything is related to HR applications that we've seen today. So Odoo is an ERP, a complete ERP, all integrated, and this is why we wanted to give a more HR aspect today, also to focus on that department that can be integrated with your core business. And here, just to mention that Odoo is as a community and also enterprise version. We have those two versions active today. So here the difference is that community is something, it's completely free, but it's totally different from enterprise version that we have developed a few years ago. So the big difference between both is that we have some modules, some applications that are only available on enterprise version, and the big difference is that enterprise version from community, enterprise version proposes a maintenance of your data, also support if you have some problem on your database. We have a team that solves the problem if you submit a ticket. So also regarding the support, you have the migration, to the next versions that we launch every year in October, and also the hosting solution, which is really important on our cloud for enterprise version. Community, it's different, as I just explained. You have less applications, but it's our community that develops so that version of Odoo. So Odoo Enterprise is affordable. So as we explained and introduced that webinar, we help SMEs to implement the ERP on their company so that they can optimize and be more efficient in the way they work. So here the thing to understand is that there is one unique value proposition because the ERP is totally integrated. We work every day, our team work every day to keep that solution easy to use, so user-friendly also to use, and everything in the way that it is affordable for an SMEs or very small companies or multinational, as we said so previously. So how to implement Odoo? It is a question that you might be asking just behind your screen. We have two ways to implement Odoo. We have the first way, which is the official partners way. So our community around the world that locally implement the solution in the companies. And we have the Odoo direct implementation, so which is my department. But we will start with the first one here. So it is a network of official partners that have a local presence. The partners work differently from us, but they can use the implementation through cloud or on-premise. and we are focusing on standard and on the project implementation. But if you would need some specific development for your project, the partners will directly implement. So the big difference between both is the local presence, because here in Dialect, if you don't need a local presence, you can implement the software at distance. It's with Odoo Direct through a quick start methodology. So here the Odoo Direct is on SaaS or Odoo SH if you need to do some specific also development. We will try to focus more on the standard and put all the needs in standard, because we developed some applications, and we will try to lower the costs of implementation, and also to keep that quick start implementation of the project. Okay, so I would like to thank you for the interest and also your time, which is really precious nowadays. So here I will just take the question, the tab on the question that you've been asked, and we will start answering some questions here. Okay. I see that there is people from all over the world. It's good to see that a lot of people were present. Okay. Okay, I see here a question on the tab that job referral program can be good only when you have a lot of employees. If you have a small company, I thought it was a question, but it's actually a comment. Okay. Does the Odoo 13 support email leave request notification to manager? Actually, I will have to ask that internally just to have a confirmation, but I can take here your name, or maybe you can send me the email directly to sbc@odoo.com so that I can get back to you easily. Yes, regarding the document management demonstration, we have some documentation on it. It's regarding the answers that you've put in the Mentimentor, but for example, as we saw that the problem to sign contract was losing a lot of time, you can, for example, from document sign directly a CV. We can do it together. For example, if I take back my demonstration here, I need to sign, for example, an employment contract. Sorry, not a CV. I can go directly on documents, which on which I manage all the documents related to one employee. I can see here on my internal company that I have my employment contract. To avoid losing some time, I can request a signature from the people that the person that I want to recruit. For example, our David. And when I select that document here, I can find some actions on the below, and you find here a specific action related to that document. So you can create a signature template that you will send, for example, to David, so that he can directly send online and avoid losing time by printing it, signing it with his hand, and then scan it and get back to you by email by searching the template internally on his computer. So if I just click on that action here, it will be much more easier. I can see here that I'm on, for example, an employment contract, and as I require a signature for David, I will just here put some indications so that he can sign the contract. So as an HR management, I need the employee, for example, signature here. I close, and then, for example, I send to him directly the employment contract. Okay, so I can send it, for example, by email, so that David can receive the email and sign it and get back to me with the employment contract here. For example, David Dupont, and we send it with another message. And here for the small story, we know that you all might all know, because if you followed some HR webinars before, this is a process that we do day to day in Odoo by our HR's colleagues. They send through Odoo so that they can get that signature online, and everyone who enters in the company have signed directly from e-signature. So here I'm Mitchell admin, and then I can configure, get back here on my signature here. So I will sign off, for example, if I'm David. I want to sign now. Then I'm on my template, and Odoo gives me the information where to start and where I need to fill in the information. So here, if I need to click on start, I just put on next, fill in some addresses, for example, test, a date 23, up, 4, etc. Initials, for example, SBC. I clicked too quickly, mark it. Come on, my internet is not so good. David, for example, adopt and sign. Next, I come back. Okay, here maybe I want to directly sign it, and then I put David, and I sign, and the document is signed if I put here my initials. Okay, just fill in here because I put lots of fields to complete, but then you can validate it and send it completely to the HR management. You can, if you want, just to answer here to your question, it might be interesting more to analyze the project, and also to answer to your question, Odoo SH is a platform that you connect to your database so that you can do the development if it is needed to your project. So we can, maybe you can get back to me to sbc@odoo.com, and we can do a demonstration for you. So we will keep it in English, but you can also get back to me because I speak Portuguese, so we can answer to that question in a second time. Okay, perfect. Of course, here to answer to your question, we have so many other applications that include also payroll process, localization and tax laws, but it will depend on the country you are. So it might be interesting to know what are the needs that you have today, so that we can configure something and show you also. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed. You can always get back to me. I will just here put the